AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. Tonight at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Executive Director Alex Hornbrook says speakers will include Vice President nominee Tim Walz.
He'll introduce himself to the American people tonight on the convention stage, highlighting the small-town values that have shaped his lifetime of service and his commitment to safeguarding the freedoms that we all hold dear.
Also in Chicago is Republican Florida Congressman Mike Waltz. He questions Tim Walz's time in the military.
Why is he exaggerating his record? He did not retire as a command sergeant major. And for those of you, this rank, that rank, it is a very big deal.
Tim Walz retired from the Minnesota National Guard in 2005 to run for Congress, knowing his unit could get deployed to Iraq. But 3 months before it got the official order. Former President Donald Trump campaigned in North Carolina today after last night's speech at the convention by his predecessor, Barack Obama.
The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day.
Now, he was very nasty last night. I try and be nice to people, but it's a little tough when they get personal. Please, again, remember, please, sir, don't get personal. Talk about policy.
The Labor Department says more than 800,000 fewer jobs were added during April of last year to March of this year than previously reported. Here's the AP's Jennifer King.
Economists say the downgraded jobs numbers suggest that the Federal Reserve will be more likely to cut interest rates sooner than later in an effort to boost the economy without fueling inflation.
Stocks finished the day higher, the Dow up 55 points. A former babysitter pleaded guilty to manslaughter for the 2019 death of a man she was accused of disabling as an infant 40 years ago and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Terry McCurchie finally admitted she hit Benjamin Dowling numerous times. He died at 35 after a life of severe disabilities. This is AP News. No deal yet on an Israel-Hamas ceasefire.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken meets Qatari Minister of State Mohammed bin Abdul Aziz Al Khulafi in Lusail Palace after his arrival in Doha on Tuesday evening. But on Wednesday, Blinken ended his 9th visit to the Middle East since the war in Gaza began without securing any major breakthrough for a ceasefire deal. He'd warned on Tuesday that time is of the essence, even as Hamas and Israel signal that challenges remain. Hamas has called the latest proposal presented to it as a reversal of what it agreed to previously and has accused the US of acquiescing to what it called new conditions from Israel. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Ohio's election chief referred for possible prosecution 597 apparent non-citizens who either registered to vote or cast a ballot in a recent election. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawamian greetings. To Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news. From a beautiful place with the civic views. It's always so much fun. Good morning, Marianas.
Good morning, Marianas. Good morning. It's Thursday. It's National Tooth Fairy Day. Some might say that's National Clinton Dela Cruz Day. Somebody might say that. Clinton wouldn't say that, though. He's not an aspiring tooth fairy. That's an if you know, you know. But I'll it's great, though. It's a great story. And we can talk about that, too. We got stuff coming up, but you'll definitely know all about that tooth fairy thing coming up within the next couple of weeks. Good morning, Marianas. Thanks for joining us here for another morning show, another day of coffee together, talking about everything that's happening out here in CNMI and around the world. Already opened up the show for you with a little bit of the Associated Press, the latest update that comes out. Again, it's every hour on the hour. We get the latest update from the AP, so you know what's going on Democrat National Convention going on. There's a whole lot of stuff about that. They showed a lot of stories in the Associated Press, but it's in the national press all over the place about that, including some of our delegates who are down there, and also people who just live in the mainland or live a little bit closer, joining our delegation. In fact, some familiar faces from the CNMI for the Democrats down there. Tina Sablon down there, Michael White down there, Layla Staffler down there. Again, all these folks who are part of the Democrat Party here in the CNMI. But, you know, it's also people who don't live here anymore, but they're still part of the Democrat Party of the CNMI. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that they are. Nola Hicks Kalillaman over here, or Kalillaman Hicks, and Petersburg. Now, she's been living in Guam for a number of years, but she was down there, and she's the one who announced the delegate count for the CNMI. And Angelo Villagomez, my buddy, was down there with them too. And he's not, he left here 15 years ago. I can't believe it. It's terrible. Maybe it was 14 years ago. But it stinks because he was my buddy. And I would have preferred if he stuck around here a little bit longer. Actually, that can't be right. That timing can't be right. It wasn't 15 years ago because he was here at least 2011, maybe 2012. So maybe about 12 years ago. I don't remember exactly the math, but that's about it. Yeah, I see that for CNMI and for Guam's. Hey, good morning. I know we can't even vote for president. It is pretty funny that we do that. I guess it's okay, but not okay at the same time. I don't know. I don't get all caught up into the whole national politics since I moved out here. You know, I can. It's easy. It's an easy thing to talk about because I talk to people back in the mainland all the time, and I can tell you that some of them are just nuts. They're just crazy. And you get to, and I guess a little bit, we're able to kind of get it through osmosis when people come and go here. Whenever there's a bunch of new Hollies come in, we eventually meet them and all that stuff. And when we do, you know, you get to feel them out. You know, it's all smiles, welcome, and all that other stuff. And little by little, you know, eventually you start getting those extra little bits of personality that come out without, you know, you don't have to ask them right away. Ooh, so what's your thing? They will happily tell you. They will. And that's not a bad thing, but, you know, you got to learn about who's coming in and who's going to be your new pal, maybe. And so we get to hear like some, you know, usually happens after they have a couple of beers or a couple of drinks. Then you get to know what their politics are and all that stuff. And hopefully it's not too heavy-handed. Really, it's just about hopefully hanging out and having a good time and enjoying it however long they're going to be in Saipams. They're going to be here for 6 months. They're going to be here for a year or maybe 2. Maybe there'll be those people that stick around for 4 or 5 years. Who knows? Maybe they'll stick around longer like us. Jeez. And but with every new batch that comes in, you get a little taste of how things change in the mainland. And that's about it. And I can't get all crazy about it for sure. And I can't jump in with both feet about any of the issues that I'm not into that whole mainstream media thing and all that stuff, like talking about it and all that. But like whatever the main conversation types are about all that stuff, like we get that. We get that when these new guys come in. We get to hear a little bit about like what they think is the most important issue and all this other stuff. like just hilarious stuff and some serious stuff. And not flipping tables. I don't get the flipping tables thing. We can't even vote for president and not flipping tables. I don't get the flipping tables, and I don't get it. Now, I definitely get the Buffalo Bills crashing through tables, tailgating. I get that part. Oh, no. Louisa, never paid attention to U.S. politics till I started watching your show. I'm sorry. Dispensazo. I do pay attention to what's going on. I do. But I don't get all swept up in it. My whole day, and it's easy to get all swept up in it too. It's so easy to get caught up in that whirlwind because you want to know what's going on. Just like here. You want to know what's going on and you want to be able to talk to people about it. And then you have some thoughts about it. You want to speak intelligently about it like you know a few things. But man, ultimately, there's some stuff in there that it's good to be aware of it, but there's a whole lot of stuff that we just can't do anything about. Excuse me. Oh, my God. I'm fighting through that yawn. What is going on with these yawns, by the way? I'm telling you, it is, there's no vaccine against the yawns. It's right. It's a good thing, though, because it affects us one way or the other. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Oh, my God. I got you. Drinking and political conversations. I hear you, Ann. I get that now. Totally get that. For sure. I steer clear of all that stuff. Once in a while, I'll get into it with somebody. Not heavy, but I could tell you a really good conversation that happened. The thing is, you have to be secure in your friendships and your relationships to have real good conversations. Real story. So this was with, does it matter if I mention her name? Yeah, she won't mind. I don't think she'll mind. We got into it on the set right before we were doing the news, my co-anchor and I, Jillian. And it was great. We had a good relationship and all that stuff. And then she said something political about something. I said something political about it. That was the opposite, right? I'm like, that guy was the worst president ever. This is going back to like 2014 when we were on the show. So it's not about anyone who's in office now. Like, that guy's the worst president the United States has ever had in the history. Oh, no. I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't just be repeating the opinions of your parents and really thinking about that for yourself. Oh, she got so mad. And she wouldn't talk to me. I'm like, and we only had a couple of, and this is during a commercial break, actually. It wasn't before the show. It was during a commercial break. No, maybe it started before the show, right before we went on. Like, the music's playing and everything. And she just, and then came back, did the first segment, and then we had a commercial break. And I said something. I'm like, oh, you're not going to talk to me now? I'm like, hey, you're not going to talk to me because of that? No, because I'm fighting. I'm like, look, that's what friends do. Friends fight. And they fight because they know you're still going to be there afterwards. And then we're still pals. We still talk to each other. Like, on the phone randomly, we'll call about like what's going on with life and all that other stuff. But that's it. It's true. But I don't often get into it about political stuff. I'll tell you what, though, a few years ago when I went back home over the summer, I got into it. Oh, my God. My whole family is one way politically. And I'm just not that guy because they got all into it. And then you get your mom. Oh, my God, my mom. My mom has got the news on all day. And it's not news anymore. It's just the entertainment stuff. It is 100% just like news infotainment, kind of. It's just, we're giving you one opinion all day. This is it, blah, blah, blah. And then I got my mom saying things, the same kind of stuff. Those people. I'm like, oh, my God. Mom, you need to turn that off and do something else during the day. Stop filling your head with that poison. Not like any of it. CNN, Fox News, those guys, all poison. I'm telling you, like, it's just, if you hear it all day, it's good to listen to some of it for some of the storylines, especially when there's an actual news program, right? You got me, Ann. But they're both the same thing. It's, again, the news is great, but if you're not delivering actual news coverage all day, you're not a news network anymore. You're just an entertainment thing, right? So the Fox News isn't just the news. It's all laced opinion. That's it. It's some stories laced with opinion, but freaking all day long. Same with ESPN. Maybe. But CNN, same exact thing. It's just opinion stuff all day. You want to listen to what you want to hear all the time. They got some personalities. Maybe you like that guy. Maybe you like that lady. You want to hear them talk a little bit more. Little by little, that stuff just kind of builds up. So I can't listen to that crap. I can't, because it's just the same stuff, and it just fills you up with some hatred and all that stuff. Like, you can really start to hate somebody pretty quick listening to that mess. It doesn't matter like what leaning you are. I'll tell you, because I'm not all the way left. I'm not all the way right. I can't be that guy, because that stuff, it's just silly. There's no absolute when it comes to some issues. Some issues I could say, hey, look, it's a black and white issue, easy, right? But not everything is, those people are the reason for all the problems. Oh, shit. Okay, we got to dial that back. And then if you're listening to that for hours and hours, like that's the thing that's playing in the background. You know, it used to be when I came home, it was from school. I mean, because that's my real back home memories. I left like a month after I graduated. I was out for basic training. But I would come home from school, fix myself some kind of beastly sandwich with all kinds of deli meat and cheese and lettuce and mayo and mustard. You name it. I made like these epic sandwiches. Grown boy, you know, still apparently, but just not growing tall. And I would probably watch what's on TV. It's around 3 o'clock now. And I think it was like Donahue was on. I think Oprah was on at 4. I'm like, oh, man. All right, so I guess I got to listen. All right, call her. You know, whatever it was. Like, crap, you know, can I just put on something good for a little while? At least she was watching soap operas, then talk shows. And talk shows morphed into, like, crazy-ass news stuff. So now I got crazy Fox News mom. Again, not everything that's on there is bad, but like a lot of it is. You just can't have that stuff all day. It's like drinking. Drinking is not all bad for you. It's good in some doses, right? But well, they say you can't. If you don't start drinking in the morning, you can't drink all day. Well, I mean, you're not supposed to drink all day. You shouldn't probably not be sitting in front of the news to listen to that all day. You tune in for it, you get what you want to get out of it, you get those stories, and you move on. So, speaking of moving on, I'll move on from that story, but it's a true story. But I got into it. I got into it. My mom, I got into it. Oh, my sister. I'm like, oh, my God, how could you say this stuff? You're just parroting this. Oh, my God. Good times. And to say something about that, though, just to bring it full circle, I have a great relationship with my mom and my sister. And my dad and my brother. We're all good. We're all good. But it goes back. You can still fight with people. You can argue with people pretty hardcore and not cut them out of your lives and think that they're deplorables or whatever it is that everybody wants to slap this terrible, terrible thing on it. All right. Hey, today, National Tooth Fairy Day. Get your wand and your wings out and start collecting teeth. How old were your kids when they figured out that there is no tooth fairy? I think it's right about the time. There's no specific age, but just about the time that they're losing their last teeth, they figure that stuff out. My daughter figured it out early. She knew what was going on, and she did not tell my son. She did not tell her brother. He still wanted to believe, and damn right, you keep believing that. You can believe it today. Maybe he's just a smart one because he still wants to get that money. He's not losing teeth anymore at 13. He's pretty good. And if he starts losing them now, they're going to be permanent ones. So, I mean, that's it. Anyway, Tooth Fairy Day. All right, let's talk about something I thought was really interesting. IPI wants to sell their hotel casino and everything else they've got for about $10 million. That's still not nearly, that's just a fraction of what they owe, the CNMI alone, not to mention all their businesses and everything like that. They've asked the federal court if they can approve the sale of their hotel to Loy Lam Sit. Is that a person or is that a company? I don't know. I really don't know, but that's what they did through the court. In fact, I can pull it up, actually, with my fancy new Pacer account. Ooh, I didn't set it up on this computer, though. Maybe I can pull it up anyway. But Loy Lam Sit, $10 million. Now, I don't know who that is and who their relationship is. I want to say that's the person who said that they were going to give IPI $1 million loan. I want to say it's like a Vietnamese name, though. See if I can't find it. Apparently, he's a Hong Kong resident. And, you know, that to me screams someone who's already a part of IPI at some level. And they're going to sell it to them. I wonder, though, does he end up incurring all the other debts and everything else for them, too? I mean, that's the important thing. Oh, Tobot, your son found out early. Like he's like, Dad, where's my tooth? Mom's gonna put $1. Hey, Peeling, good morning. Good to see you. You know when okay, I'll tell you I got more Tooth Fairy stuff for you. Maybe we'll come back to that after the break. But going to this one. So it's this guy's a Hong Kong resident. Like I don't trust. First of all, I don't trust any of these guys. Any of these, and by the way, all the languages that come up with this guy, it looks like Vietnamese. So he might be a Hong Kong resident, but it looks like to me he is something else, or like he's from somewhere else. That's just how it's hitting me. But I don't trust anything at all about this IPI stuff. So even if they do sell, because I think what their move would be is to transfer it to somebody through a sale, right? $10 million. Give all that money to the CNMI, and then the CNMI's got to go after IPI, which no longer is that building and the casino. So this guy opens it up, but it's probably still them. I mean, that's how I feel it. You just got to... they really need to vet this guy and see what happens because they try to go about it a different way. They try to do a chapter. They filed Chapter 11 protection from their creditors, but they were trying to convert their bankruptcy to a Chapter 7. A Chapter 7 means they get to liquidate all their stuff to pay off the debt, and that wasn't working out. The NMI bankruptcy court said, no, you can't do that. So with this move, though, if IPI is the one who's responsible for all of their debts themselves, they end up selling this property for $10 million. This guy ends up getting that property, I guess, at a steal, and the other company gets to just file bankruptcy and dissolve completely, like no harm, no foul, right? So if we sell to this, if this guy is able to buy it for $10 million, okay, great. But that's got to go through the CNMI. It absolutely has to, because nobody should be able to have that property and have the rights to that property if they're not going to do something with it. Like, really? I know it's in federal court, so it comes to the federal judge, but I would hope that the federal judge does not let that go, Ramona Manglonia. I hope that she does not let that deal go through unless there's something in there for the CNMI to ensure that, one, it gets finished, and that it gets finished. Now, I know those guys from the Casino Commission, those guys, I'll tell you what, those guys in the Casino Commission, they're probably nice guys. They're probably too nice guys. They're probably like, if the wife cheats on you, it's okay, baby, I'm fine. Just keep going and keep doing. Maybe slaps her around. They slap them around a little bit. They're they're the battered housewives or the house husbands in that relationship because they never will leave IPI. They love those guys. They're like, no, but you're just saying there's no chance, and I'm just in it for the kids. Like, no, come on, dude. Like, you got the worst breaker-uppers of all time are the ones they appointed to the Casino Commission. I'm not talking about the most recent one. I'm talking about from the previous administration. Whatever you want, absolutely, you got it. That was the last one. I just want to go see other people. Oh, okay, just go try it out a little bit, just see if you come back, I'll still be here. Like that's our Casino Commission. Like the absolute, and that's in the best case scenario. In the worst case scenario, they've been influenced, right? But the best case scenario is they're just bad breaker-uppers. No, I think there's still a chance. It's like it's like Luke Skywalker talking about Darth Vader. I still see good in him. I'm telling you, the worst breaker-uppers. Why? IPY. IPI a day. IPIOU is what these guys are. Anyway, we'll see what happens on this. I'm interested to see if they would let that roll through. I mean, they owe the CNMI like over $70 million, just the government itself and things that they owe. Not to mention all the other creditors. There's so many other people in line. We're just the biggest one. The Commonwealth government is the biggest one. And, man, and that's why I have such an issue with some folks who are holdovers from the last administration, only because they let a lot of this stuff go. I love the people who stood up against it and some of that stuff, But literally, all those people who were part of the GOP, and again, I don't dislike the GOP as a party at all. But what happened is that these guys were heavily influenced by IPI when they were here. They were heavily influenced, and it's all because of money. Brad, you can't prove it. No one's guilty. Shut up. It's exactly what happened, because nobody who was be completely objective would let them do everything they wanted to do. And they ran through here completely unchecked. No, we ran it through the House. I know you did. You ran it through all the House majority, and you put all that stuff through. And that's why they were able to get away with all this crap. And that's why we have this big monstrosity, is what everybody calls it, that's unfinished. And this is why you guys spent all that money, incurred all this debt by saying we're going to get all this money from IPI, and they never paid. So when they stopped paying and we didn't get that money, but you're still appropriating based on those allotments, you wonder where'd the money go? We never got the money. You're spending it ahead of time. And then you used ARPA to backfill all that stuff. That's the kind of stuff that you can't gloss over. I mean, I'm not worried about this election because they still know, hardly any Republicans want to run in this election. And there's a reason why, because it's the stink of all that stuff. Really? And I saw pictures from a fundraiser in Guam recently, and who do they have there? Will Castro, who I'd like. I mean, I'd like him because he's a nice guy when you meet him and all that other stuff. But, he's at the heart of that whole boost fiasco. And don't tell me that wasn't a fiasco. And I don't have an issue with people who got boosted in general. But the people who got boosted ahead of other people and got it hundreds of thousands of dollars where other people didn't, you can't let that stuff go. You absolutely can't let that stuff go. And it all comes down, it's the same thing. What happened here and then how it spilled over to that. These folks who got influenced by this company and all their investments and all the other people and they were influenced by local folks who got the actual money that came in, right? I mean, it's come on, you got to go this way. All right, you got it, no problem. Because they just want to be good little soldiers for the folks who are calling the shots. I mean, that's it. And now, but you still see them. See, this is the problem. Of the people who are running for delegate, right? You got 5 people in there. And I mean, we could talk about the chances that we think each one of them has, right? But one of the people I've known for such a long time still associates with some shitbags from that previous group. And that's what kills me. Why? Why do you still associate with these guys? I mean, I get it. They're great that they're your supporters, but you're better than that. Why are you with them? Why are you associating with those guys? I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Because at the heart, I know that person cares about what they're doing. They're running because they believe that they can do good things for the Commonwealth. I know it. I know it. And just, man, it just absolutely kills me. The people who are part of this whole thing. I don't understand. I'm telling you, I don't understand. And how people could still show their face when they know they did all this stuff. When they know that they're the reason for IPI and the influence IPI had, the reason why that thing's just standing there. And it's not the pandemic, but they're the reason why that thing is still standing there, gone unchecked for years, because everything that they wanted, they got. And that's how that ended up. And then that friggin' boost thing. That boost thing is not minor. I mean, that is such a major thing. They're like, oh, it's only $17 million. Only $17 million. Give me $17 million. I'll open up a flower tea shop. But when you got these guys who are blatantly given money because of where they were at, it's just crazy. Thanks for that disclaimer, Tobot. Thank you. I mean, I love that guy, man. I'll tell you what, he did great stuff for my sister-in-law when she was in an abusive relationship. I had to pick her up out of the hospital. It was him and his wife who were there to do good things for them. He did some really great stuff. And I can't tell you that when it comes down to this political stuff, when I talk to people about Governor Torres about when he was in, I'm like, how could he give away the furniture before Governor Palacios gets in there? And what I got was like, oh, I think he just snapped at the end, when he lost. Like, all right. And then also they're like, oh, well, the reason why he lost is because of Will. I'm like, all right, so you're going to blame it on Will, but he's going to be part of your fundraiser. I'm like, why? Like, I would just say thanks, but no thanks. Really, we're trying to turn around our GOP over here. We're trying to shed ourselves of that, the stigma of what happened. And it did. It did. It absolutely did. It was terrible. You are the cooler Castro, Tobot. You're the coolest. Dispense that to all the other Castros who I know. But you can't turn your back and you can't put your head in a hole and pretend that stuff didn't happen. And that's another thing. Talking about that whole boosting. Like, granted, I know, like, with the folks who are in the legislature who are really trying to shine a light on it and make things happen, let people know about what was going on with that. One of the things they're saying is, like, why would our legislature go after that? If they misspent federal funds, the feds will take care of it. That is some weak stuff. And that was a great job of restraint from what I was really thinking. But that is some weak stuff because you absolutely have to do that. If not them, then who? You pursue that stuff. That's money that was meant for the CNMI folks, not for the CNMI's friends. Like, it was for everybody, for the economy. I'm not going to nitpick every expense that went on with ARPA. I am absolutely not. I think the governor did a good job of doing what he had to do to keep this place going. But that boost thing, friggin' fiasco. And people need to be held accountable for it. And they should dissect that down to the freaking penny. Absolutely. And no, you're not a bad person if you got boosted. No, you're not a bad person if you got that kind of money going to your company. Not at all. But the controls on that. The controls on that. Like David Atzelake, who is the Secretary of Finance, who is one of the people who got that going on. Like, how does he show his face around? Like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. He didn't talk about it, right? I mean, he didn't talk about it because when he got subpoenaed, he didn't say a thing. All right, that's cool. When are you going to talk about it? Because that needs to be dealt with. Somebody really needs to hold that accountable. When you're going down there and picking up checks saying, send this through, approve that, I'll come down and pick it up for them. That's not impartial. There were 3 people who were involved in that. Well, Jess Tysagui, Will, Dave. There you go. And they tried to make it sound like it was the Bank of Saipan. Oh, no, they're the administrator. No, they're doing it. They got it. We got that as oversight. They were caretakers for the money. They were able to put the money in there. That was it. Bank of Saipan was not involved in that. Who gets what and everything. In fact, they gave their money back. So that's what bothers me about that stuff. I'm telling you, I don't understand how some folks can still... I mean, you say innocent until proven guilty. I'm not saying that they should be convicted of anything. I'm telling you what they did was wrong. That's it. I watched those hearings. I saw that evidence that they presented for myself. And you guys could too, because it was all online. It still is. Watch those text messages between Will Castro and Dave Atzelage and their WhatsApp group and the text messages between the boost people, the people who made the decisions. Read it for yourself, guys. I'm telling you, read it for yourself. Those folks should not be able to do business here. At all. And if you're going to say that these are the people and flaunt those people as your supporters, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. think I'm getting a little too honest here. Maybe it's the coffee. I went with French roast today or dark roast instead of the morning blend. Like, I can't understand. I can't believe it. I can't believe it that people would do that. Brad, just be quiet, man. You know why you just talk about fun stuff. Okay, fine. No, I'm like, it's serious. It's like that. It's like that. Ooh, man, if they get elected, you're in trouble. Yeah, maybe. What are you gonna do, man? I can't fake it. Like, that's just it. And after this, now that can't be the only thing that you do if you're in office is point the finger at other people, because there's all kinds of people, right? And I get that. But for this issue, it's not the only issue, right? Why are you making a big deal about this? Because it was friggin' blatant, right in the faces of everybody. This stuff cannot go unpunished, or at least untalked about. People absolutely need to know about this stuff. It absolutely needs to be dealt with. And you're right, Toba, they said, but the judges are turning the cheek. The judges need to sack up and actually deal with this too. If you're a judge here and you're going to recuse yourself for everything because, oh, it's my cousin, my auntie, my what? No, BS. You took this job for a reason. You're related to somebody probably. Unless you want to get a superior court full of howlies, then shut up and do your job. Really, go out there and do that. That's it. If you don't think that you can be impartial, then you can take yourself out. Then you're also just saying you can't do it. And if you can't do it, why are you there? I appreciate it. I do for some things. Like, you can't be the judge for your husband or your children. Got it. Your niece, your nephew, you're telling me you can't be impartial? You can't render an impartial jury for a sentence? You just follow the sentencing guidelines. And that should handle it. It's not that easy, Brad. Who are you to judge? Well, I'm not a judge, so I guess. And I know it's not easy. And I know you've got thousands of cases every year. Every month, probably. But that's how we start holding ourselves accountable for these kind of things. You got to do your job at the court. You got to do your job at the legislature. And you got to do your job even like OPA. It's disappointing. It is. But like maybe it's a little bit of frustration built up about some of these things. Seeing IPI, man, it's just like picking off a scab and all that stuff all comes out. All that other stuff. Because you think, I'll tell you, man, because, when I saw, and you're going to say, how do you tie this in? Okay. So working at CUC, I remember going through Sodalore at the Emergency Operations Center just down the street over here in Oleai at the CUC Power Office. That was our EOC. And coming out, and we couldn't get anywhere. People were strapping trees to trucks to drag them out of the way just so we can get out and start moving. We were walking up and down the streets when it was still dark, even though it was still windy, but it wasn't typhoon windy anymore, trying to see if we could, with the cars behind us, to see if we can get through. Couldn't. And we finally did, got out, and the fence over by AK was knocked down, so we were able to get over that and get out to the street. By that time, I saw some folks from DPS with chainsaws cutting stuff, and like, all right, it's starting to happen now. And I knew the people in the cars behind me were going to be able to make it to me eventually. And I took that left over by Joe's Bar and AK, started walking up the street and just seeing all this stuff. And it just hit me. I'm like, man, decades of progress, for the people who are from here, seeing like I've been here for little bits of it, right? I mean, like a little joking thing. It kind of is like, I was here when we even got street signs. We got our names, right? But like seeing all these decades of, from when hearing people talk about like when these were all coral roads and sleepy roads and no traffic lights, no street lights, no anything, and then improvements and drainage, and then the power poles and communications and all that, all wiped out in one storm. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just so devastating. You come so far. And then to see how the resilience of everybody and the heart of here and how people really do work together for everyone. There wasn't an ounce of selfishness. It was everybody doing things for each other. And I was just overwhelmed by the feeling of like love and community and how great it was. And then 3 years later, it happens again. I'm like, come on, we just did this. How many tests are you going to give us? We just did this, and all right, we come back and we're battling through all this stuff together. And it was great. It was great to see everybody come back together and to see how, and maybe that's what part of this thing is for me, because I worked with the governor at that time when he was lieutenant governor. And he was in an acting role when he was doing all that stuff because Governor Enos wasn't doing all that well. So I worked with him and his team for rebuilding First Solar. And then I worked with them a lot when I was doing the military job and seeing how they were making stuff happen, how they were able to cut through red tape to make stuff happen. Like, that's my friggin' governor right there. That guy, this young guy, he's getting stuff done. I love this guy. And even when the pandemic hit, nobody knew what the heck to do. Anyone who says they've got all these expert opinions on how it should have been done with the pandemic here, they don't know anything, because nobody knew anything, because nobody in 100 years had dealt with something like that. Nobody had that. And so he's doing the best he can, figuring out with the facilities that we got, with the expenses that we got, the limited resources that we got, everything's shut down. How do you protect the community, especially on all the islands? What happens if it gets a Tinian? What happens if it gets a word? All that stuff. This guy was making the right decisions for everybody. I loved it, right? That didn't, to me, appear political for anything. ARPA came in, and then you just see some of that stuff. Is the boost thing, though. Man, the boost thing. It broke my heart to see that was what was happening. They were just raiding money and giving it to friends. We got a call coming in. 1 sec. Avade, thanks for calling. Good morning, Marianas. Who's this?
Hey, good morning, Brad. This is Piling.
Hey, Piling. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. The sun is out. Yeah. I just want to share some of the topics that you're doing today with IPI and the way that Bush program was run and the people that got involved with it.
Yes, sir.
Talking about Will Castro.
Mm-hmm.
How can a highly educated guy, I don't know where he went to school, Harvard or Stanford, highly recognized university, that boost program is a complete joke,
Mm-hmm.
and so as the other people that are being appointed, that they tell during the election that they're gonna appoint this person, that person, because of the degrees that they have, because they're capable of taking care of the job in front of them, only to mislead us. That's the problem there on our cinema. That's the problem. That is the problem. And yeah, everybody is related somehow. But are we really gonna stick with that excuse and allow our government officials to abuse our people? Look at the picture. That's why there's no tourists going there, and there are hardly any high top investors are interested to invest on our cinema. Everything is dying. The last one that died there, other than IPI, his Hyatt Hotel. They left. They left. Why? That's a big question mark. Why? What's going on? And that goes back to our leaders, people that we counted on to protect our way of life, to secure that there's money coming in, and everything that came in good went out dead. That's the problem there. And they have to really look on that buyer for IPI for 10 million. Is that person gonna come in and another crackhead gonna take over and be a part of the corruption again? We need to snap all of this. We need to snap all of this. And we have to tell them, hey, the far right now. The far right now. Na maulik mo na. Sa bulan mangsa. Pininabunin nito itanota. Our islands are ugly nowadays. Because our government is misleading. Lead by your education and your profession. Stop looking for money to put it.
Oh, we lost you. Sorry, I think we lost you. You can call back. Please do. I know you got more to say. Sorry, but I heard it went silent for a second and call back. But if you call back, I'll answer it. The phone's down over there. But call back. Call back and you can finish that. But that's great stuff, Peeling. Thanks for calling in. Again, call back. We lost you. We did not hang up on you. But I always appreciate the phone calls from you guys. And that is, in fact, that's for you guys too. I know that we talk a lot in the comments and you can't, and I love it. But if you want to call in instead of typing in, you can do that too. And that number is 670-789-2323. 670-789-2323. I wonder if his battery died. I don't know if that's what happened. But if you can, Peeling, give us a call back. I'm going to put a little message in here in the comments just so you know. Lost you, Peeling. Call back when you can. Oh, geez. Look at my delayed keyboard. I need to get a new keyboard. Let J. Here we go. He's calling back. Oh, no, different number. Abde, good morning. You're calling Good Morning Marianas. Who's this?
Hey, good morning, Brad. This is Rap Piling. This is Mr. Kirigo. How are you, sir?
Hey, Bo. How's it going?
All right. I just want to touch base just a little bit on what Piling is saying, but aside everything that you're also bringing out today, IPI and what he mentioned about a possible investor wanting to take over for $10 million. How about this? I just want to throw this in, and maybe the trustees of board, the trustees for the Marianas Public Land Trust could consider the alternative. But if they can give the government $50 million loan, and IPI is willing to sell it at $10 million, why don't we, the people that own the land, buy back the lease for $10 million, and then we can help do something good with it? And then the people will be stakeholders, where MPOT can't say they can't give us out our dividends. That is an alternative investment that I believe it can resolve this shenanigan that has been created just because of that casino. Now let's look into the brighter future. If we take back the lease at that price, man, there's that Indian Casino Commission that Senator Magosda went to see and spoke directly with the chairperson can literally be invited and start talking. They're ready. They want to invest at 60-40, and guess who gets the 40? Them. They're giving us 60% on the investment. return. Now, what do you think?
No, I like that idea. The first thing that makes me think of anything, though, it's going to be more than that $10 million because it's going to cost a lot. I think what we really need to do is have, and this might have been done already. I mean, you figure public works must have done it, but to have a real A&E survey done on that facility to find out where it really is, to find out how much, is it sound, how much money would we have to invest to bring it up to code? Because even before they closed, when they were still in the building process, they were paying off-duty firefighters to walk there because they didn't have two things. They didn't have a fire detection system and they didn't even have a fire suppression system. And that's when they were still building it. How long has it been now? Like 5 years, 6 years, maybe? So I think it's been exposed and open, people stealing stuff out of there. I can't imagine like how many millions it's going to take to finish that thing.
Well, that, we can only imagine, but here's the approach. Why don't we get started and find out? That's my approach to everything in life. We're just going to keep talking about it and discussing about. We haven't really applied the approach to discuss the matter. It beats the purpose. It serves no purpose. So literally, when there is already a conversation from an elected official that came out publicly on Marianas when she came back a week later, and yet nobody wants to entertain that. That's the thing I ponder why. Is it political motive? Is it personal? I mean, she went out loud to even talk to the chairperson of the Indian Casino Commission that oversees all the casino in the United States, I believe the West Coast area. So why not reopen the conversation when there's already an open dialogue? That's what I'm trying to get here.
I like the idea. I really do. But I think maybe one of our first steps is to find out how much it really would cost to do all that stuff. Because and then find out if we did do it and if we did take that approach, like how long would it take to get the money back to pay for that?
And the thing about this, Brad, we're talking numbers already that has already been thrown out to the public. So literally, there's a number already in the negotiation table. Mm-hmm. So that's the good start here. Now they can come back with a higher number, which would, in a sense, benefit the people in the cinema if there's any return that is due to the people of the cinema. But, hey, there's a number already.
Yeah. As long as, I have no problem at all. I love the idea if it was a local benefiting operation altogether. I know that these guys from the U.S., like the Native American folks who would do this, if they would do that and that was a 60-40 split, I would love it if it was more toward us, but that's still fine. But the main thing is that's more money than we ever got from IPI, right? So that's a good thing. And especially if it's something where we could really employ a lot of local folks in it, right? A lot of local folks doing that would be outstanding. But there's a couple of things, and I think the big thing is what the heck to do with that unfinished hotel behind it and how much money that would be.
I hope you remind me for this out because it is part of that hotel. And, I hope the government officials are listening in. It's sad that we had to personally be, and Mr. Tudela and some of the Matua councils that were present on the 20th to celebrate and honor our ancestral remains that have been left in the back corner before the beach area. Please, we've started the cleaning, and I'm thinking of going there today and finishing it up. But it would be nice if the government would pitch in and pick up the trash and give some respect to the people that lived there thousands of years ago.
You know what? We're on the same page. That little slab that commemorates that there's remains there is not at all a memorial to the people who came before us, right? I mean, it's just terrible. And it's at the very least, somehow somebody said that's acceptable. I'm not from here originally, right? So but if it was just imagine if it was your parents or your grandparents, would you be cool with that? No. Oh my God, no. Right? So
Yeah.
It would be great to have something done, and maybe even if it's not at that site, somewhere that makes a good thing. It doesn't have to be anything. I mean, like, I'm not the artist, and I'm not the person that would determine any of that stuff, but it's got to be a lot better than just a slab with some random numbers on it about like specimen A, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing that I kind of bothers me because, as a former employee of Parks and Rec, I know the area where the government tends to be committed to the approach of tourism. Understand? But yes, just why do we under the Parks and Rec take care of those monuments in the north, go to command post, that Japanese temple, the Buddhist, whatever, Korean temple? Have they contributed annually to the cost to maintain that when it was built, to be considered their culture there? Yet they passed the very hard work, our ancestors in the heart of Iceland, Garpen, and yet they don't value their former existence for us to be here today. So even you got here to enjoy the history of the Marianas, of the Chamorro ancestral land area, and that is already proven in 2019 by DNA. And I'm just surprised that the Humanities Council does not share that information out.
But so, like, you bring up, this is a really good point, especially because what we're talking about in the CNMI is finding our identity. Who the heck are we? And by that, I mean, that could be for a number of different things, but specifically as a tourist destination, who are we? What are we? People, and not that this is going to be the driving reason behind it, but if people who are making these decisions need something else, another validation for why they should invest in a better spot to better honor the remains of these the ancients who had the village there, because it shows other people as well about how much we value our culture and how much we honor even the people like that, so that they weren't simply swept aside and put into a small box for progress, right? It says that we really value, so that when the story of the Marianas is a story of people who do honor their culture and their elders and the people who came before them. I think it's a great point, and that's just from a generic marketing point of view, right? I mean, for something else. I mean, it should mean damn well should mean a lot more to people from here, right? And so that's something to go with on that. I think it's a great idea to do that. Hey, while I got you on the phone, let me ask you a real quick question. All right. Have you seen any of the designs when we were showing them on here from OPD about the Cultural Events Center?
Was that the second rendition, or was it the first rendition that you were showing?
Yeah, we had Mariano Iglesias come on from OPD, and we had.
No, but was it the first rendition, architectural design, or was it the second rendition? Because there's two here, and that's the part that we do not agree.
Okay.
This is if they're showing you the second rendition, that's a rider into the original EDA grant. Remember in 2019, the Pacific Games that was here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's not the first rendition. That's the second rendition.
I don't think I've seen the first one then.
Ms. Liana Schneider was the people that, and Mr. Samsung, I believe that was also, I can't be corrected again, but I know it's a Samsung firm that did the rendition architectural design on it. And that's why they got the original EDA 21-point-some million before, because there's an original rendition. That's not the original rendition they're showing now.
Wow, I haven't seen the original.
Man, you should get a hold of Liana Schneider. She's the right person to address this and bring it to light, because right now this administration is trying to fool the people of the Marianas. And where this is going to head to, it's not going to be nice, because, like you said, it's the wrong place and the wrong venue, wrong time to put the south side where it has been dedicated for a Chamorro Cultural Center site from the first EDA rendition.
Where? You said it was in the south? It was further south?
Yeah, you know where the West Coast is, the restaurant?
Yeah.
North of that, okay, where the the carving all the way to the Chocondao. That is the original rendition for the Chamorro cultural site.
Isn't this the same spot?
No, see, what they're doing is they're trying to write the north side and put that into to a new man. I'm just going to stop here and direct you to Ms. Marianas because she has championed for this for decades. And really, she's the one that fought that on the last public hearing to where we had it in for that EDA, original EDA, where it was never used. Now they're trying to set in, and Mr. Iglesias is saying this is no. That's a rider from the original grant. So literally, we're questioning what happened to that original rendition because that's not the original rendition they're showing up to the public.
Oh, you're talking about that one that's got like the laddie stones with the flame and everything?
No, that's for the Galapan.
Okay. Oh, that was going to be, that was going to be the IPI one, right? Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, Liana Hafsidana will be the right person because she has championed to save that area, to even make the first EDA grant go through to that process that she fought for that land.
Okay. Well, I'd love to see it. I messaged her, by the way. I haven't gotten a reply yet about coming on the show because we had everybody else who's running for that spot, for the delegate spot. She just hasn't gotten back to me yet. But hopefully we'll be able to have her on. And if she comes on, she could talk about that too.
I hope, if you don't mind, can you give me one moment to address something that it has to do with the recent memorial that we held behind IPI on the 20th, where our ancestor representatives, like we call him Ceruano, Mr. Donald Mendola, has celebrated on the 16th every year. This is my second year to join them. On the 16th, he was in the corner of Surf Rider Hotel, and then on the 20th, we celebrate the IPI reburial for the Anavan ancestors of the Chamorro people. So literally, when we share that out, and I'm sad to say this, and I hope you don't mind, but we have gotten a racist, really painful racist comment in regards to that has been circulating and is going viral right now on social media, to the point where literally it chokes me to even talk about it. But it's coming from the Carolinian community, and why? I just can't understand that this is a reburial ceremony for this person to even come out and say, "Oh, you're celebrating a corned beef, short ribs that they were digging. That's why they were finding the man." And then he went on to the point where I had to say, "You have to stop," because he even threw in the Samoan community where how do right there this person did not know the history of that site, and that's where I'm pleading to Mr. Marciano. I hope you received my message this morning. I text you, and I'm pleading to the Carolinian Affairs Executive Director, Mr. Nogues, please teach your community the truth, tell them the truth about that site, because it's enough. That person really ignited fire.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
I just want to be on the record.
Well, thanks for that. I definitely haven't seen any of that. We not checking out the same stuff, but I try to think the best of everybody, and with.
Dude, we were just doing peaceful honor, homage, and everything, but we don't deserve to be attacked. Especially on social media where you're gonna degrade. If you're degrading them, you're degrading us today. So you're literally you're inducing hate. Well, it was just a ceremony to give respect, and we couldn't even get that when we are the true heirs to all public land. I'm sorry for being direct on the radio, but it just bothers me that just that history is not told the way it is, the truth.
Well, I hear you.
And thank you, Brad, for your time, man. I know it's a sensitive thing. I never apologize, but I just need you. I mean, since I went on the radio, and I mean no disrespect to you, no the radio station, no the community, but it needs to be addressed properly. And I hope that these people that I called out can help me to assist the matter, because it really has stirred a deep, sensitive, controversial issue right now, and especially what's going on. And thank you again, and I want to stir you up. Adios.
Jos, thanks for calling. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, so back-to-back calls that we just had, and thanks to Ray for giving us a call and giving us some insight. I'm not really aware of all that other stuff that he was talking about, well, where it is and all that, but again, I don't know. There's probably a lot more context to it too, but like the thing is, like, I think at the heart of it, like you put everybody in the same space, in the same room and stuff like that. I think a lot of this stuff goes away. I think social media probably doesn't help us a whole lot on that stuff, with being able to lob comments and behind, especially the anonymous ones. That's the worst to me. When you see the anonymous comments that go in there and people are like, oh, you're this guy or you're that guy, all that kind of stuff. The absolute worst. All right, I'll tell you what we will do, though. We're not going to be able to work on everything, but one of the things we can work on is our fitness. Yes. Even though I was called away and instead ended up having a great day with the wife and kids mid-afternoon yesterday, I still need to get into the gym, and that was totally my plan. But you could get yourself into the gym, and you could do it now at a great spot, and there's even more reasons for you to join. It's the newest gym in Saipan, the newest facility with the newest equipment, and it's in Chalankanoa. Really easy to get there, great parking, and wait till this road work is done. It's going to be even better. It's going to be an absolute dream to get down there, get in and out, to get their protein shakes, get their supplements, get the good sauna, the cold plunge, you name it, they have all of it, and it certainly is amazing. And I'll tell you, like, I love it. It's a great spot over there. Laddie built 24-hour fitness, and the reasons to go are even bigger because they're partnering with PHI. So now that if you are a member of Laddie Build Gym, you get a discount on things over at PHI. Yes, and PHI's got locations in Dandan, in Koblerville, in Garapan, even in Tinian. Might be a longer commute to go to the gym from Tinian, but when you do come over from Tinian, at least you can come over and you get yourself a great discount when you're in there and you're partnering with those guys. I can tell you a lot more about it, and I want you to go down there and see it for yourself because it is great. Maybe you're thinking, oh, it's too expensive. Maybe a gym's not for me. Maybe I'll start by walking. Hey, that's great. It is. But even while you start walking, you start thinking about more things, you can make your way down there. Oh, we got another call coming in. Let's take this. Just one moment. Hey, Hoffaday, thanks for calling. Good morning, Marianas. Who's this?
Yeah, good morning, Brad. This is Billy again.
Hey, what happened?
Yeah, sorry. Barack Obama was calling in and I got cut off. Anyways, Brad, my last comment and my final comment this is going out to DPL, landlords of public land and our government officials. Before any of you guys make a deal with that ITI $10 million purchase, please consult the indigenous people of the Sinamay first. That's my final comment and my opinion. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but I'm just speaking my freedom of speech. And I love you, Marianas. I love you, Brad. You guys have a good day.
Hey, Peeling, thanks so much. We love you, too. Thanks for calling the show. Thanks for watching, and thanks for commenting, too. All right, so that was Peeling, finishing off that phone call from earlier. Hey, I gotta tell you guys, I mean, it's one of the best things, watching you guys in the comments the whole time and getting the phone calls on the show. Absolutely great. And it's the only show that can do that. Like, we literally have like this ongoing community conversation. It's almost like you're all on the phone at the same time. We're all sitting around a table and having some coffee and hanging out. And Tobot, one of these mornings when you're not tinting the world one car, one office, at one window at a time, come on in here and have coffee with me. I got some good coffee over here. It's not bad. And maybe we'll start to, Luisa's got good coffee. She should come over here too and see what we end up doing. Seriously. The only problem is if you guys come over, that's two people who aren't watching the show because you guys will be on it. So just bring your computer, pop it open, so it'll show that you guys are watching too. All right. Hey, all that is to say, we can talk more about that. I would love to have you guys here. And I'll even get a better coffee maker so I can make more than 1 cup at a time. For real. All right. Well, from 1 cup at a time to 1 workout at a time, we were saying that, hey, maybe, again, it's not, the whole idea of joining the gym sounds too expensive. Maybe I'm just going to start with walking. Great. It's a great idea. Everything that you do to start getting yourself more fitness-minded is a great start. Oh, but it's not that far. It's not even worth it. No, everything that you do to improve yourself is positive. Any little walk, trying to drink more water, you name it. But go down there and check it out at Laddie Built. You might be inspired when you go in there. You might see that it is not as intimidating as you think. They have certified fitness trainers who are happy to help you out there. They'll even let you try out workouts there and for free at the beginning. True story. And if you don't know how to do the exercises with all the machines, they will show you how to do it. I'm telling you, it's a great thing. And when you go there, though, at least go in there, walk around, tell them we sent you. They'll love it.
Persistence to build, be the inspiration, they witness the proof. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a laddie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence to build, be the inspiration, they witness the proof. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
It's a great day to be up 3-0. I'll tell you that. It probably is not great to be down 3-0.
I'm Brad Rosala, and I'm the owner for Commonwealth Communications.
And I am Jojo Alipuzu. I am the owner of Island Image and Motion.
And this is our joint venture, Sideline Studios. This whole concept that we have of doing all these live stream productions and covering news and doing live shows and everything, it wouldn't happen if we didn't have a great partner like IT&E, someone who could handle the bandwidth and provide it and then get us what we need when we need it and then be a real partner for us for all the events, whether we're doing live sporting events, broadcasts. All of these things happen because of our partnership with IT&E.
With IT&E providing us with the fiber and point-to-point and even the MBRs, it's just a great piece of equipment to use when we're broadcasting our sports, our events, our performances, especially our cultural performances. And it's just great to share our culture here in the Marianas with the world. And IT&E has been there from the get-go.
The thing I like best about working with IT&E is how willing they are to come out and find a solution. Even for Liberation Day, we thought we had a pretty good solution for our live stream setup, and it turns out that we did not have the right setup that we thought we needed. That day, just before the parade, reached out to Paul and said, here's our situation. What do you think? He's like, we're gonna figure this out. While he's sitting there barbecuing, getting ready for the parade to start, he starts burning up the phone lines, calling everybody in IT&E, what can we do, what's the right solution? They left their families to do this stuff and get us the equipment that we needed to broadcast live. That's over and above. That's on a holiday. That's when he was out there spending time with his family.
That's why IT&E is just the best, just really in touch with the people and the community.
I recommend IT&E to everybody. Tell them the options are there and you can choose whoever you want and then figure out what you think is the best. But when you're ready, when you're tired of having your calls disconnected or not having service, then you reach out to the guys from IT&E.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Former President Trump's reacting to last night's speeches at the Democratic National Convention. Ed Donahue has the story.
Trump pointed out in a speech in North Carolina, he took notes.
Did you see Barack Hussein Obama last night? Take little shots. He was taking shots at your president.
The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day.
And it wasn't just the former president.
Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
And so was Michelle. You know, they always say, sure, please stick to policy, don't get personal. And yet they're getting personal all night long, these people. Do I still have to stick to policy?
It was Michelle Obama who said at the 2016 convention, when they go low, we go high. Trump, in his speech, blamed the current White House for the deadly Afghanistan withdrawal and wars in Ukraine and between Israel and Hamas. I'm Ed Donahue.
And Sagar Magani reports Democrats will highlight their rising leaders tonight.
The old guard, from Bill Clinton to Nancy Pelosi, will speak, but so will the next generation. Top House Democrat Hakeem Jeffries will address the convention, along with Governors Wes Moore and Josh Shapiro, who is a finalist to be the vice presidential nominee.
56 protesters were arrested last night following violent clashes with police in downtown Chicago. Police Superintendent Larry Snelling.
We had a group that showed up, and they showed up with the intent on committing acts of violence, vandalism. That was their intent.
Israeli tanks and drone strikes have killed at least 17 people in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza and Khan Yunis in the south. Meantime, Lebanon's Hezbollah launched more than 50 rockets, hitting homes in the Israeli-annexed Golan Heights today. And independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is scheduled to speak Friday amid speculation he could drop out of the race. This is AP News. Revised numbers from the Labor Department show the economy added 818,000 fewer jobs than originally reported from April last year through March of this year. Minutes from last month's Federal Reserve meeting indicate most policymakers agreed they would likely cut their benchmark interest rate at September's meeting as long as inflation continues to cool. And Seth Sutel has the AP Markets report.
Stocks closed higher on Wall Street after more big companies delivered solid profit reports. The S&P 500 rose 0.4% Wednesday. The Dow added 55 points. It's about 0.1%. The Nasdaq Composite gained 0.6%. Target jumped more than 11% after topping profit expectations for the spring. Macy's fell almost 13% after cutting its forecast for sales this year, due in part to more discriminating shoppers. Treasury yields eased a bit in the bond market. Investors are waiting to see what Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says about interest rates in a speech on Friday. Seth Sutel, New York.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
Good morning, Marianas. Hey, we're not scared, but we are chicken. I not expecting that. I wasn't ready for it. All right. It is 8:26 in the morning, and it's the early chicken gets the worm, apparently. Great to see all you guys in here today. Probably one of my favorite things to do is listen to those ridiculous chicken songs and then talk with you guys. That's what my life is now. I don't know what it is for you guys, but that's how I enjoy things now. We got you all caught up with the latest from the Associated Press, so you know what's happening in the U.S. and around the world. Let's let you know a little bit what's happened with weather here. It's 86 degrees right now, 80% humidity up at the airport. We've got scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day, mostly cloudy skies with a high near 85. The winds out of the south-southeast at 7 to 9 miles per hour, but a 30% chance of precipitation. And as we know from Landon Aylett when he was on the show yesterday, said whenever they put a percentage up there, probably going to rain. So just kind of expect it. The good news is that it's pretty bright outside. I have the exposure set on the camera as dark as I can get it and without messing with the white balance. because that's it. It's just bright. That's great news. So maybe, fingers crossed, knocking on wood, it's actual wood too, that we're able to play baseball tonight. And if we are, it's going to be the game that we wanted to have on Tuesday that got canceled with the Padres and the Blue Jays. Not Sandlot. Padres, Blue Jays tonight at 6:30 if the weather holds up. And that's what we're hoping for. So, yay, fingers crossed, because we already got one playoff game down and we got more to go. Now, what's interesting is that the who's actually going to move on next, because it still matters. Wow, got the ambulance going by. Oh, fire truck. Actually, just saw that going on. Got fire truck going by. Got a school bus going in the other direction. Traffic is just wild out here. This is a crazy morning. But all that is to say that talking about the baseball that we've got going on, let's see who's going to be coming up next. One second. One second. I got to check this out from these guys. Anyway, let me get in here real quick. Opening up the schedule because that's what we got tonight. Here we go. Pump, pump, pow. The score sheet and the schedule. So we've got the Padres and Blue Jays tonight. Now, the Cardinals beat the Braves, right? So the Falcons already got a first round bye. Cardinals and the Braves are the next game that played on Monday. Cardinals won. They were the 4th seed, and that's great. Padres and Blue Jays. If the Blue Jays win, they're the 7th seed, so you figure they would probably end up playing the Falcons. But that's a tall order. The Blue Jays knocking off the Padres. Padres are the 3 seed. The game that's going to be scheduled for Friday is going to be the Bandits and Sandlot, and that's 2 versus 5. So we're going to have to see who ends up playing who based on who wins and who loses in this round. So, again, this is the first round. We'll end up seeing who's in the second round to see who the Falcons are going to play. So anything can happen. So, again, it's still single round elimination. Single round elimination, not a problem. And then the next round, single game elimination. And then the finals is the best of 3. So that is what we've got shaken. Oh my God, I got to change it. There we go. That's easy. All right, so we're going to hopefully that field will be nice and dry for us tonight so that when we get out there, we're going to be good to go. That's our plan. That's our hope. That's our dream. We do have lying ahead for you the CNMI's update. We've also got the sports update from the Associated Press that we can get to in a little bit. And talk about, let's see, what else do we have that we want to get to? We already talked about Tooth Fairy Day. We already hit the headlines there. We already know what's going on with IPI. We talked about those guys too. In fact, we can knock that part out too. It is still the first week of school. We still got a couple days left, and we can absolutely remind you guys so that we hit this all the time so you guys know what's going on. This spot that's blinking on the screen is what DPS is telling us is the busy part of the place. That's it. So that is the busiest traffic route on Beach Road right now. There's plenty of it, but this is one of the spots where you can help save yourself some frustration. If you're going northbound on Beach Road and you're approaching the AK intersection, sometimes it's going to be a little bit stuck. So what you can end up doing is moving around just a little bit by going through Olea. Now, when you do it, when you go through the village, you got to be mindful that these are residential villages. So you got to go slow and keep your eyes open. It's not about rushing to get to work when you're going through somebody's personal neighborhood like that. You don't want to end up causing damage to the community or getting into an accident. God forbid you bump into anybody out there. So drive safe and drive slow when you're going through the villages. But that's one way that you can get around the traffic that's heading northbound toward the intersection over there on Beach Road in Olei. There's the alternative routes provided by DPS. Now, there's other places that can cause a little bit of, that can help with that, by the way. So if you live in the south, and like if you live in Dandan, you live in Azlito, instead of dropping down, go all the way over to Chalmonseñor Guerrero by getting on Chalmonseñor Martinez and moving back and forth. And this is the busier time too, because MHS, I think they start school at 9 o'clock. That's a tough one. And we received a bunch of info from them as well about like what the bus schedule is and everything that we're going to be posting up today. So you guys are going to see all of that, but we'll get to that later today. A lot of interesting things. We've got a meeting today. The Saipan Chamber of Commerce is going to be hosting the first full-on debate for the candidates running for U.S. Congress. So all 5 candidates have been invited. All 5 candidates have confirmed. We just had the forum for all 5 of the candidates with the Society of Professional Journalists over at KSPN Studios over the weekend. Now on September 17th, this one's going to be at the Multipurpose Center. You can get tickets. You can go there and attend this time. It's going to be all 5 of them on the stage talking about what they intend to do and talk about their plan. They'll probably talk about each other, and it should be pretty wild. I mean, it should be definitely a lot more animated than folks who were in the forum. It's different when you're playing for an audience. There's a different energy in the room. People get excited about all that stuff. So we will be there. We'll be broadcasting it live. We'll be broadcasting it on NMI News Service, and we'll broadcast it on the Saipan Chambers Facebook page. So you guys are going to be able to see it. No problem. Good stuff, though, right? Gotta love it. All right. So we're going to meet about that at 10 o'clock to discuss some of the technical aspects of it. Now, as far as like the questions and all that stuff, I have nothing to do with any of that stuff. That's totally other people dealing with that. Logistically speaking, though, making sure that the microphones work and the cameras work and all that stuff, that's going to be part of what we do and doing the stream stuff. So I won't have any questions. I won't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to be asked or any of that stuff. That part's not me. But we will be, there is a full-on dividing line on that because I'm not going to be part of that club. But I am part of the production club. Like if it was the your school performance, I'm not in the musical. I'm not one of the people who auditioned for a role. I'm in like the AV club. That's pretty much it. That's our defining line. All right. Well, let's see. What else do we have today? Again, I got that thing. Oh, the Voice of America. That's a big deal. That's something we haven't really talked about. The Voice of America. We have the radio broadcast stations here in Saipan and in Tinian. Those big towers on the south end by Geoghegan Point here. And then in Tinian, I don't know what it would be called over there, but I know that, excuse me, on the, is that the west side over there? Yeah, I think it's the west side of Tinian. It is the west side of Tinian. Is where they have this massive facility. In fact, they are the biggest power consumers for the whole island of Tinian. Yeah, and they have their own backup generators that they can power up to power Tinian if CUC needs it. That's how big that is. Well, they spend so much money. It's going to be a big drop for Tinian. I think Tinian's the whole island, I think, needed like 1.3 megawatts in its heyday, right? So the power production needs for Tinian requirement's going to drop quite a bit. But if they're going to if the military is going to get in and have more going on over there, that power is going to go up again. But again, that's only going to be when there's exercises happening throughout that time. So it is going to be interesting how all that works out, what's going to happen in Tinian. But it was something, we heard about it a few weeks ago. I don't know if it was a full-on month ago, but it definitely was weeks ago that we had heard about this. And it's a shame, but it goes to talk about how the world is changing. So the folks who do the Voice of America, it's the U.S. Agency for Global Media. And they are saying that they still have a mission, and they're still going to continue their mission. What do? They basically broadcast all kinds of pro-America stuff all over the place, right? All up and down. They could broadcast all the way as far north as Russia and all the way down to Vietnam. Like from Tinian, they can broadcast that shortwave radio transmission broadcast. And I've been there. I've been inside that facility, and it is really quite impressive. The amount of engineering that went into the entire facility to the broadcast structure itself, like the actual towers and the wires and how it fires that shortwave radio, and TV signal. There's a video signal as well. It's not just radio. But what they're saying now, one of the reasons why they're doing that, they're going to shut that down, is because people just don't listen to radio as much anymore. So their message isn't as effective. And it costs a lot of money to do it. So they're still going to continue with the programming. They're still going to continue with the messaging. They're just going to be pushing it through the internet, through different means on the internet. So I think that's a bigger thing. Ask around. And aside from, or think about yourself first before you ask around. How many radios do you have? We have 2. One in each of our vehicles. Do you still have like that old that old boom box at the house somewhere? I know I've seen it at Finance where they have that old school radio, dual cassette deck. Not sure if it still works. Needs the head cleaner, all that stuff. Because I don't know how many people have cassettes anymore. I do. I have a box of them, but they're in New York at my parents' house. So, but I don't know people who have just radios anymore. I know there are people who have them. I am not one of them. So I listen, and even in my car, I don't listen to the radio. Like I'll Bluetooth. Well, I did. I don't have Bluetooth on the van of Justice now. I will when I put in the news stereo. But I would only play stuff that like I was streaming, like Amazon Music or YouTube or something. Like I don't remember the last time I just listened to just the radio. Once in a while, maybe I'll pop it on, but it's rare. Like I don't really listen to the radio, and so that's one of the trends that they're seeing too, along all the target markets that they've got, like in China and even in Russia, and then all those Southeast Asian countries. So at least the people who consume the products that they're producing aren't using radio as much anymore. So they're still producing, but they're putting it online instead. So it's just a global trend. You know, that it's sad because I love radio. TV took a lot out of radio back in the 50s when it first launched and then continued to just become a powerhouse. I love talk radio. I love sports radio. And so now, you know, with that kind of stuff going away, at least here, we don't really have it. You know, we really don't necessarily have a talk radio station here. You know, we have NPR, so which is cool because I listen to NPR a lot. I used to listen to NPR a lot, and there's some shows I really liked on it. You know, entertaining and all that stuff. And then they got like some news programs. Then it gets a little too heavy on one side when they play like that. What was it? Democracy Now! Oh God, I can't listen to it. It's just a little too much. It's a little too much leaning one way. You know, so like it's just not for me. But aside from that, this is the closest thing that we got, right? I mean, that's it. This is the closest thing that at least I have to try and be like. I mean, I have opinions on things, no question about that. I mean, if you watched it earlier in the show, you heard some opinions. But as far as like talking about the news and what's happening, getting the stuff out there, like there's not a real thing, a real opportunity to do that in the morning. So that's what we end up doing. He says, wow, is that the same as a ham radio? Kind of. It's a shortwave radio, but it's got a really interesting signal. Oh, no, you found a transistor radio. Ann says, found an old transistor radio in my grandparents' room that weighed as heavy as, oh, no, it popped up. Weighed as heavy as 2 cinder blocks. Oh, my gosh. I'll tell you what, Ann, in my parents' basement, they have one of those old transistor radio with the bulbs inside and all that stuff. And it's nice. It's a work of art, really. I mean, it's made out of real wood, not that particle board that they make a lot of stuff out of today, right? It's the whole thing, the whole unit. The radio is really up on top, and then down lower in the bottom is the speaker. But I mean, it stands about yay tall, maybe about 4 feet or so, 4.5 feet, and it is an absolute classic. But there's just not a whole lot of call for that these days. How about those old TVs? My gosh, that was one of the things. So going over at KSPN, they've got Such a great facility, by the way. They were great hosts for us for the SPJ Forum for the delegates. I mean, outstanding hosts. Thank you again so much, KSPM, for doing that and welcoming us all in there. I know everybody's a little competitive for all that stuff, but not for this. I mean, they were just outstanding. But so they ended up getting all this office space over there, and they have a ton that they haven't used yet. And these are the old offices for Deloitte. When you're going up Capitol Hill, those like brick-faced buildings on the side, that's them. And we've got some old furniture that was in there. And it was like one of those things where it's like cabinets and everything with like a desk space and all that. And the cutout, like where a TV would go. And there's an old square TV in there. And it was really cool. It was just cool to find it. Like, we have a flat screen right here. Our monitors are these flat screens. We have the old flat screen. It's so cool to see that. That used to be it. Like even the resolution, like the old, how would you describe it to people now? How would you describe it to anybody? But what it is, you just tell kids like the dimensions. It's like Instagram, the Instagram post. They're all squares. That's it. Yeah, old TV used to be Instagram, and we're Benjamin Buttoning our way through history on this. I do. I love it. I think it's an accurate description. Absolutely is. All right, we're gonna take a real quick break. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm still going to be here, but I want to get you guys the latest sports from the Associated Press. So let me get that to you now, and then we'll be right back afterwards.
AP Sports, I'm Gethin Coolbaugh. It was a busy day for roster moves across Major League Baseball, including an American League frontrunner losing another starter to injury. AP correspondent Dave Ferry reports.
The Braves, Orioles, and Cardinals made roster moves on Tuesday as they attempt to fill holes and improve their postseason position. Cade Povich is back in Baltimore's rotation after the team placed Zach Eflin on the injured list with a sore shoulder. Eflin has won all 4 of his starts and compiled a 2.13 ERA since joining the O's from the Rays. Atlanta has signed infielder Gio Urshela to replace Austin Riley on the roster. Riley is on the IL with a broken hand. The Redbirds reinstated Matt Carpenter from the IL and released fellow infielder Brandon Crawford.
On the field, a speedy start for the Baltimore Bats helped the Orioles fend off the Mets. Correspondent Mike Mancuso reports in New York.
The Orioles struck quickly and went on to beat the Mets 9-5. Anthony Santander blasted a 2-run homer in the first inning, his 37th. James McCann added a 2-run blast in the fourth as Baltimore built a 7-1 lead.
It's always important, honestly. When the offense can come out and put up runs immediately, it lets your starter kind of settle in and feel a little bit more comfortable.
Starter Dean Kramer went 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 2 hits for his 6th win.
I was competitive with my sinker and splitter today, and that kind of got me through.
Mets starter Jose Quintana surrendered 7 runs to take the loss. J.D. Martinez did hit an 8th-inning 3-run shot for the Mets, who are still chasing a National League wildcard spot.
Elsewhere in interleague action, the Dodgers rallied with 3 in the 8th to top the Mariners 6-3. The Pirates blanked the Rangers 4-0. The Blue Jays pounded the Reds 10-3. The Padres edged the Twins 7-5. The Cubs beat the Tigers 3-1, and the Giants handled the White Sox 4-1. More on the latest in sports is coming up next. Back to the diamond and the American League. The Guardians scored 6 times in the 12th inning on the way to a 9-5 win over the Yankees. Lane Thomas hit a tie-breaking RBI double in the 12th before David Fry tripled with the bases loaded. Cleveland starter Matthew Boyd was happy to see his team rally late.
Boys made big pitches today. We hit, when we needed to, and that was awesome. And like I said, it was all around a good win.
The Angels pitched their way past the Royals to snap their winning streak. Correspondent Greg Eklund reports.
Los Angeles Angels starter Tyler Anderson lived up to his billing as an all-star with 6+ innings in their 9-5 victory over the Kansas City Royals. Anderson put a halt to the Royals' 5-game winning streak.
I feel like they're just, in general right now, they're really balanced as a team. They're having really good at-bats. They don't really strike out a whole bunch, it doesn't seem like. It seemed like you get guys at 2 strikes, and they were doing a good job of battling and just putting balls in play, and sometimes they found holes and sometimes they were at guys.
The game was tied 2-2 until Angels shortstop Zach Neto homered off losing pitcher Cole Reagans to lead off the 6th inning. The Angels tacked on 2 more in the inning to knock Reagans out of the game.
Jarren Duran went 4 for 4 and hit a tie-breaking solo homer in the 8th to lead the Red Sox past the Astros 6-5.
To be able to get one on them is really good. I mean, they've been beating us up pretty often, and it's nice for us to be able to fight back and show them that we can compete with them.
The Rays were 1-0 winners over the A's. In the National League, the Braves got the better of their NL East rivals. Here's correspondent Jim Hart.
Marcell Ozuna launched his 37th homer, and Ronaldo Lopez struck out 10 in 5 innings to lead the Braves over the NL East leading Phillies 3-1. With the score tied 1-1 in the 6th, Ozuna connected off Phil's ace Zach Wheeler for what proved to be the game-winning hit. Braves center fielder Michael Harris.
He's been one of the biggest pieces to this team this year. His confidence is, I guess, out of this world, and he knows when he goes up there he has a chance to change the game significantly, and he went up there tonight and gave us an extra lead.
The Braves cut the Phillies' lead in the NL East to 6 games as they won their first game played without the injured Austin Riley.
The Brewers tight-roped out a 3-2 win over the Cardinals, with Milwaukee pitcher Devin Williams working out of a bases-loaded jam in the home ninth to strike out the last 2 batters. Milwaukee manager Pat Murphy.
That's just poise right there. Tremendous poise. Facing Goldschmidt, Hall of Famer, and, I thought he was sensational.
The Diamondbacks prevailed over the Marlins 3-1, and the Rockies topped the Nationals by the same score. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh, AP Sports.
Saipan Paddling Club, it's time to row their boat for the 2024 Micro Cup. And you can get on board with their raffle fundraiser on Saturday, August 24th. Tickets are just $1 and the grand prize is $200. All proceeds go to get the paddlers to the Micro Cup and help get them uniforms so they represent the CNMI in style. So support your local paddlers and buy a bunch of raffle tickets for your chance to win the $200 grand prize. Just go to the Saipan Paddling Club Facebook page for more information. That's the Saipan Paddling Club raffle fundraiser on Saturday, August 24th at 3 p.m. Don't be a drip. Help with their trip. All right, welcome back, Marianas. It is 8:50 in the a.m. here on Thursday, August 22nd, and the weather is looking good. You're looking good. I'm telling you, this is it. It might be a baseball day, and I'm excited. I tell you what, I did some eating good last night. We were over at Godfather's. Had the kids picked up from school and had some. I had a meeting, and afterwards, I'm like, all right, we'll get some pizza. Saipan's best pizza. If you haven't liked it, if you haven't tried it, you're missing out. Saipan's best pizza, absolutely Godfather's hands down. But here's what you might not know: chicken wings. Oh yeah, buffalo wings. I know the buffalo wings, but like, I'm from Buffalo. People in Buffalo don't call them buffalo wings. We just call them chicken wings. So I've talked to Scott a few times. Like, Scott, dude, we got to get you dialed in on your chicken wings. So they have chicken wings, but it's like the whole, like the drumstick, the flat, and then the nub at the end. I don't know what that little nub's supposed to be, but it's there. The last little part. Call it the pinky of the wing. And so they would fry that, and then afterwards they'd slap some sauce on it. And like, it's close. You're so close. And then what they had called buffalo wings were chicken wings, but they were breaded, and then they would put some sauce on them. Like, no, you can't bread them. You got to make it. You got to do straight up. All right, so I was there. I'm like, all right, can I talk to your cook? Yeah, go ahead. So I go back there. Like, all right, let's make the buffalo wings that you have, but don't bread them. Oh, you want naked? Yeah, naked. All right, there you go. Naked wings, just like that, and fry them and make them extra crispy. All right? Yeah. You guys got one of those big metal bowls? We do. I'm like, all right, good. Throw in some butter and throw in that Frank's hot sauce. Get them in there. Shake them up. Toss them up in that bowl. Get them like that. Don't pour the stuff on it, because it's going to get too soggy, right? And give them out there. And don't put any cover on it. Let it continue to steam away so it doesn't make them all soggy. They broke them out. I'm like, oh my God. This is the closest. This is the best chicken wing in Saipan. That's it. All right. So we ate that in like no time. I'm like, all right, give me another order. In fact, double it. Give me a double order. So we got 3 orders of those yesterday. Holy crap. It was awesome. I'm telling you, when you go there, that's how you order them. Marsha, I'm telling you, they were finger licking good. Not to steal KFC's thing. I'm telling you, these were the best chicken wings I've had, save for the ones that my mom made when she came out here. This is it. If they make them this way, yeah, that's the way you got to do it. You're talking about the little piece at the end. So that part, if you fry it, I can eat it, right? It's okay. But man, I'm telling you, the way they did that was outstanding. Outstanding. I ordered one just to try it, and then we ordered 2 more orders. I didn't order one single wing. Like, I had one order. We ended up 3 orders of chicken wings yesterday. It was so good. Oh my God, I just couldn't get enough. It was just awesome. And I could have ordered more. And that's probably what gave me the superpowers to carry the kids around yesterday. I guess that's it. If you know, you know. The other one is, so after I got that, and I was offering them to people so they could try it. Like, this is what you need. This is it. So Ron Biggers was there. He got an order to go. That is, I'm telling you, that's how you do it. Go to Godfather's. Ask them to make their regular buffalo wings. Tell them naked, right? So that means no breading at all. The little butter in that, and ask for extra crispy. Throw in that pat of butter and Frank's hot sauce, and then shake it up. And that's it. You guys will not be disappointed. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. It's going to be the best chicken wing. If you've only had buffalo wings here, this is going to blow your mind. It will blow your fragile little mind. It is so good. It is so good. You know what else is so good? We had Josh Wise come in talking about PHI and how they can become a part of the program. And what they're going to do is be a part of our show, which is awesome, and be a part of the whole program. And he dropped off a couple of samples. And one of them is this really amazing protein shake. Have you guys tried this? I know there's a lot of these that are already there. You don't even have to make them yourself, like these prepackaged, and you could see the condensation because they just pulled it out of the refrigerator during that sports update. But it's called MRE. It's made by Redcon, and it's a protein shake. And one of the things, especially as you get older, is that you lose muscle mass, and a lot of that's because you don't take in as much protein as you need to maintain and grow your muscle. Well, this stuff is outstanding. And it's not just like good for you. It actually tastes good. It's not like one of those generic, I'm shaking it up a little bit. It's not one of those generic, like the ones that taste terrible, like the ones, like those protein things. Man, no. This is legit good. I'm telling you. Like, this could be a legit meal replacement. And it's got protein in it, but it's not whey protein, which is really good. And that's good to know for some folks who are like what's the other one? Gluten. Folks who can't handle gluten, this is not that problem for you because there's no whey protein in it. The whole thing itself is 230 calories. That's if you drink the whole thing. 110 per serving, so that's 2 servings. And this stuff is good. And you can pick it up at PHI, like right now, like anytime at all those convenient locations that they have at Dan and Cagman and in Garapan and Tinian. These are $3 each, and that is a smoking rate, especially for out here, because you'll find them a lot more expensive different places. What I really like is that it's not like out of a can, so you can close it like when you're driving. Like me, Van Justice is manual transmission. I don't have a cup holder. Certainly I don't have one that's a square, so I can put that cap back on and take it with me, or I can throw it in my gym bag and I'm good to go. And that's what they tell you when you go and work out. It's one of the first things you need to do within the first 20 minutes is eat, and eat something, whatever you end up eating, like the first 20 minutes after you work out, your body starts metabolizing that right away. So if it's a healthy one, if it's a protein shake, then your body can use it right away to start repairing, so it helps with the recovery process so that you feel better going into your next workout. That's good advice, Brad. How do you remember that? I mean, how come you're not working out? Oh, shut up, other Brad. All right. Well, that is good advice. It's all true story. I'm telling you. It's good. Hey, that's about it for today's show. I'm telling you all about, hey, good morning, Jermel. Sorry, just like as we're leaving. But thanks to the callers for calling in today and sharing your thoughts. Really appreciate that. Thanks for everybody who was commenting today. Thank you, CNMI, to putting us over the top of 5,000. It's not over now. We still need to keep going and all that stuff. But getting to that 5,000 follower mark was massive for us, because we got all the notifications from Facebook saying, hey, you're eligible for monetization and all this other stuff. So we're going through that process now. And that's pretty cool. We'll see how that works out for us and what that turns into here. But hey, there's a lot of stuff happening. It's exciting, this whole life of working for yourself. Anyway, hopefully we'll have baseball tonight, Louisa. We'll see you then. And all you guys, thanks for tuning in. And tomorrow we'll be back for another edition. And hopefully tonight we'll have baseball for you. 6:30, Padres, Blue Jays. Keep your fingers crossed. We'll see you. Have a great day.
To Rhoda, Guam, Sabin, and Tinian. For all your island news. From a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun on Good Morning Marianas.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber.